Jungkook's name once again shook the global entertainment universe. Not because of a new achievement, not because of the spectacular work that dominates the world charts, but because of something much more mysterious and invites a big question mark. He disappeared. Not just a momentary absence, not just reducing activity, but a silence that feels awkward, especially for a figure as big as him who has almost never really far from the media spotlight. At first, many thought this was just an ordinary pause. An artist as big as Jungkook certainly needs time to rest, rearrange energy, or even just enjoy a personal life that is often taken away by popularity. However, as time went by, the silence turned into something deeper, colder, and more worrying. There are no new uploads, no spontaneous interactions as usual. Even the public appearance feels like it is deliberately kept at a distance. The media that usually easily captures his every move is now like losing track. This phenomenon immediately triggered an unstoppable wave of speculation. The fans, known for their incredible dedication, began to dissect every possibility. Is this a personal decision? Is there a pressure behind the scenes that the public doesn't know? Or is this part of a big strategy that hasn't been revealed yet? Question after question appears without a definite answer, creating an empty space filled with theories, concerns, and deeper curiosity. What makes this situation even more dramatic is the sharp contrast with Jungkook's image so far. He is known as a total figure in his work, full of energy on stage, and has a strong emotional connection with his fans. Every smile, every look, always feels sincere and alive. But now, the shadow seems to fade, replaced by a mystery that is difficult to explain. Some observers of the entertainment industry began to raise their voices, trying to read the situation from a professional point of view. In the world of K-pop that is very competitive and demands perfection without stopping, mental pressure is not a strange thing. A busy schedule, high expectations, and almost non-stop public spotlight can be an extraordinary burden, even for those who look the strongest. Not a few artists finally choose to step back for a while to maintain their mental health, a decision that is often not easy but very necessary. However, in Jungkook's case, there is something that feels different. This is not just an ordinary break. There is a pattern that makes the public feel that this is a deeper, more personal, and perhaps more complex decision than it looks on the surface. The silence is not only about not appearing in the media, but also about the change of atmosphere felt by the fans. A feeling that something is going on behind the scenes. On the other hand, there are also more controversial speculations. Some parties suspect that this is related to the internal dynamics of the industry, pressure from the management, or even conflicts that the public does not know. Although there is no concrete evidence to support these theories, the fact that there is no official clarification actually makes the speculation grow even more. In a world where information is everything, silence can be the fuel for various narratives. However, in the midst of all that, there is one thing that has not changed: the support from the fans. Instead of being angry or disappointed, most of them actually show empathy and understanding. They choose to believe that whatever is happening, Jungkook has a good reason. Many began to recall the moments where he showed his human side: fatigue, pressure, even doubts, which are often hidden behind the perfect image of an idol. And this silence, it can be seen how deep the relationship between Jungkook and his fans is. There is no official statement, no detailed explanation, but there is a trust that is still maintained. A belief that when the time comes, he will return. Maybe with a new story, maybe with a wound that has healed, or maybe with a stronger version of himself. Meanwhile, the media continues to try to find loopholes, trying to get the smallest information that can explain this situation. But until now, everything is still in the area of speculation. No confirmación, no rejección. Only the silence continues, as if it is a separate message that has not been fully understood. And maybe this is where the biggest irony of all this lies. In the midst of such a noisy world, where every second of a celebrity's life can become public consumption, Jungkook chooses to remain silent. A simple decision, but has a tremendous impact. Because in his silence, he makes the world ask. In his silence, he created space for reflection, both for himself and for those who followed him. Is this the end of a phase? Or is this the beginning of something bigger? No one really knows. But one thing is for sure, Jungkook's silence is not something that can be ignored just like that. It is not just the absence of an artist from the media, but a phenomenon that provokes curiosity, and leaves a deep emotional trail. And when one day he reappears, one thing is for sure, the world will not see him the same way again. The silence continued, and the longer it went on, the more it felt like an unfinished story, a chapter that was deliberately closed without an ending point. Jungkook's name still echoes in various parts of the world, but not because of his presence, but precisely because of his absence, which feels so real. This is no longer just curiosity, but has turned into a collective anxiety that slowly envelopes the fans. Some fans began to reopen old recordings, rewatching every interview, every live broadcast, every small moment that used to feel ordinary. Now everything feels different. The gaze that used to be considered fleeting is now analyzed more deeply. The smile that used to look light is now questionable. Is it really happiness, or just part of the professionalism that he has to show in front of the camera? Behind the glitter of the stage that we have seen so far, there is another side that is rarely touched. The entertainment world, especially at the global level like Jungkook, is not a completely friendly space. It is an arena full of pressure, demands, and expectations that continue to increase non-stop. Every step is monitored, every mistake is magnified, and every decision can be the subject of public debate. In such a condition, even the strongest person can reach a point of exhaustion that is invisible to the eye. There were small whispers that began to be heard, not from official sources but from those who claim to be close to the industry. They talk about accumulated fatigue, about schedules that do not give breathing space, and about the need to disappear for a while to save themselves. Is this what's happening to Jungkook? No one can be sure. But this narrative makes sense to many people. On the other hand, there is also a more emotional point of view. Many believe that this is not only about industrial pressure, but also about the personal journey of a human being who grew up under the spotlight from a young age. Jungkook is not just an idol. He is someone who goes through his early adolescence and adulthood in public, with all the praises and criticisms that come together. On that journey, there may be things that he has not had time to understand, he has not fully felt because everything goes so fast. And when he finally chose to be silent, maybe that was the only way he had to really hear himself. However, in the midst of all the assumptions and analysis, there is one question that continues to haunt. Why is there no explanation? In the era of openness like now, where communication can be done in a matter of seconds, silence actually feels even more suspicious. Is this a deliberate choice? Or is there another reason why everything has to be kept closed? Some parties see this as a strategy. In the entertainment world, mystery can be a very powerful tool. Absence can create longing, and longing can build an extraordinary anticipation. However, for many fans, this feels too deep for just a strategy. Emotions that appear are too real, too strong, to be considered as part of the industry game alone. Interestingly, in the midst of the silence, Jungkook's influence did not fade. His songs are still playing, his name is still trending, and every small piece of information about him is still able to shake up social media. This shows something bigger than just popularity. It is proof that his presence has been so deeply embedded in the hearts of many people. Some fans are even starting to change their perspective. If before they were always waiting for new content, now they are starting to learn to wait without demands. They begin to understand that behind the figure they admire, there are humans who also need space, time, and tranquility. This is a significant change, a shift from relentless consumption to deeper empathy. But of course, not everyone can accept this silence easily. There are also those who feel lost, who are used to making Jungkook's presence as part of their routine. For them, Jungkook's absence is not only about an artist who does not appear, but about an emptiness that is difficult to explain. And perhaps, this is where the strength and vulnerability of the relationship between artists and fans lies. When the connection is so strong, every smallest change can feel very big. When that presence becomes a part of everyday life, losing it, even temporarily, can leave a profound impact.